everyone. This is Stephen Balch, your instructor for Introduction to Microeconomics at Ozarka College. What I thought I would do today, since I just graded the chapters 1 and 2 activities this morning, I thought I would go ahead and give you some feedback on that. And if you haven't gone in and looked at your grades for the chapters 1 and 2 activities, and read the grading comments, go ahead and do that as soon as you can. Let me know if you have any questions at all. When I grade your activities and I enter the grading comments, I try to be as specific as possible about why I counted points off and what I was looking for on the actual answers. But if you read through it and you still have questions about it, just let me know, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. Overall, most of you did extremely well on the chapters 1 and 2 activities. Let me start with the assignment. Most of you did well on that. Most of you, it was obvious that you actually watched the videos that I provided for you and read the textbook sections that I assigned for each question, and that you followed the instructions and used your own words and so forth. There were a couple of you that didn't follow the instructions, so just kind of, if that happened, then I made a comment about that in your grading comments, so just kind of look at that. And the one thing I did notice, there were a few of you who didn't answer each part of each question completely. And so if that was the case, then what I did was I explained in the grading comments exactly what I was looking for in the answer for that particular concept. Like I said, after reading your grading comments for your assignment, if you have questions, just let me know. Okay? So as far as the assignment goes, keep up the good work on that. Like I said, most of you are doing well. If you're having any problems at all with the assignments, just let me know. Like I said, I'll be glad to help you. All right. On the chapters 1 and 2 discussion, if you remember, it had to do with the use of vending machines in Japan, and I thought that discussion went very well. I really enjoyed reading everyone's comments. I really appreciate everyone's contribution to the discussion. Hopefully that's how all of our discussions will go the rest of the semester, because like I said, I really enjoyed it, and hopefully you got something out of it as well. I think you probably did. It's a good way, the discussions are a good way to kind of take at least one of the concepts that we're learning about in the textbook and in the other resources, and look at a real world application of that particular concept. And so I think you'll find as we go through the semester, the discussions that I have chosen for us to complete during the semester, I think will be interesting for you, and I think we'll have a lot of fun with it. So just kind of keep up the good work with the discussions. Most of you are doing very well. Okay. If I did have to count any points off on the discussion, and I don't think I did on maybe a couple, maybe for not answering some of the questions thoroughly, but that's an easy thing to correct. Just on the next discussion, just make sure that you're completely answering each part of each question. Okay. All right. On the chapters 1 and 2 objective test, most of you did very well on that. I did notice, though, that most of you only took it one time. Just as a reminder, you don't have to do this, but I just want to remind you that you can take those chapter tests as many times as you want to up until the due date. So, if you don't do well the first time, you can always redo it until you make a grade that you're happy with. Also keep in mind that your highest grade on those is automatically recorded. The other thing to remember too is that those chapter tests that we take during the course of the semester, I will open those up later on when we're ready to study for the midterm and the final exams. And so kind of keep that in mind as well, that one of the main resources you'll use to study the concepts, not the questions, but the concepts for the midterm and final exams will be those chapter tests. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. Let me know if you have any questions at all about your chapters 1 and 2 activities. All right. And like I said, most of you did well overall, so keep up the good work on those. All right. That brings us to what we've got coming up for our next set of activities. So if we go to the activities page in my Ozarka, right now we are on kind of the middle portion of week 2 of the semester. Okay. And we don't have anything else due this week. Of course, we just had work due last night, that chapters 1 and 2 set of activities. So we don't have anything due basically until Wednesday of next week. But don't wait until next week to get started on the chapters 3 and 4 activities. These activities are going to take a little bit more time and effort than the chapters 1 and 2 activities did, mostly because the concepts are a little bit more complex. Not complicated, but just a little bit more time-consuming to understand than the chapters 1 and 2 kind of introductory chapters. So just kind of keep that in mind. So even though they're not due until next week, go ahead and use the rest of this week to kind of at least get started on these activities. All right? And let me kind of very briefly kind of tell you what we're going to be learning about in these chapters 3 and 4. Starting with chapter 3. This is a chapter where we're going to learn about economic decision makers. Okay? And there are basically 4 groups of economic decision makers that we'll learn about. First one is households. Next one is firms. Third one is government. And then the last one, it just kind of encompasses every one of those decision makers in other countries. So the last one is basically the rest of the world, because they're also making economic decisions that affect each of us in this country. All right? So those are the basically the 4 things that we'll learn about in chapter 3. Those we'll kind of look at how each of those groups in the economy make economic decisions. You know, what motivates those decisions, what they are hoping to accomplish when they're making economic decisions. Okay? For example, one of the things you'll learn about is households are trying to maximize utility when making economic decisions, whereas firms are trying to maximize profit. And so those are some of the things you'll learn about in chapter 3. Now, chapter 4. This is a very important chapter in the textbook because it's going to lay the framework for everything else we're going to do this semester. Not that those other chapters won't as well, but this chapter 4 covers 2 very, very important laws in economics called the law of demand and the law of supply. All right? And these 2 laws kind of are very important to understand in order to be able to kind of understand other concepts later in the semester. So in chapter 4, we're going to, of course, learn about demand, supply, and then how supply and demand kind of come together to form a market for a particular good. Okay? And again, chapter 4, again, lays the groundwork for a lot of the concepts that we're going to learn later on. So it's very important that you take the time, put the effort in to learn about demand and supply, because it will be critical in order to understand the other concepts that we'll learn about later on. Okay? All right. So again, chapters 3 and 4 activities are due Wednesday of next week, February 5th. Be working on those activities. Let me know if you have any questions at all. And that's really all I have for you for today. So enjoy the rest of your day and rest of your week. And I will talk to you again sometime later next week. after I grade those chapters 3 and 4 activities. Thank you.